I'm Sharon Bill. Welcome to my theory tuition series where we're working together step by step through the theory grades. There are lots of resources available to help you on my website. If you go to sharonbill.com, you'll find some free PDF information sheets and you can download those in US letter or A4 and they accompany each step of this series. You'll also find a page there with links to all of my YouTube video tutorials. And you can also find out about the books that I have available. I've written an exam technique guide, how to take your ABRSM Music Theory Exam. It's full of tips and techniques on how to best prepare for your exam and also how to make the best use of your time come exam day when you're actually in the exam room working through your paper. So if you go to sharonbill.com, you'll find it's all there. If you can give me a like, that would be really great. And please do subscribe to my channel to keep updated. And now we're going to continue with paper B of the Grade 1 2018 practice papers. These are a really great revision resource helping you to prepare for your exam. So let's move on to page 9. We're going to look at question 6. And as I always say, I do recommend that you have a go of these on your own. First of all, it doesn't matter if you go wrong. It's always better to learn by your mistakes. Always work in pencil and then you can just erase any mistakes and have another go. And so I'm hoping you've had a go of this and now we'll look through this together. So question 6 asks us to add a rest at each of the places marked with a little star in these two melodies. So there are two separate melodies with two separate time signatures. You can tell they don't just follow on. There's a double bar line and then there's a new one started, so just be careful, it's not just a continuation. And so we need to complete each bar. So in this first example, there should be 3 crotchet beats, 3 quarter notes per bar. So in this bar here we've got a 1 beat and a 1 beat, which makes 2. There should be 3, and each new beat requires a new rest, so we have to show where each beat falls, but this is exactly beat 2, which is empty, and so we just need a crotchet or a quarter note rest. There we go. Let's have a look at this next one here. So we have a half a beat here. That's your quaver, your 8th note. We have 2 quavers, 2 8th notes, half a beat each, which gives us a beat. And then we have a crotchet or a quarter note, which gives us a beat. We have 2.5 beats. There should be 3, so we're half a beat missing. And so our quaver or 8th note rest is like a number 7 with a little blob on. There we go. Now the last bar is completely empty. So you might be tempted to try and fill it with a 3 beat rest. Trying to sort of find a dotted minim or 3 separate crotchet beat rests. However, none of those would be correct. And what we do for a complete bars rest is we add a whole note or a semi-breve rest. And although it's technically worth 4 beats, it's technically too big for this. It's a shortcut to just full bars rest regardless of the time signature. Now that's easily confused with the minim or the half note rest, which sits on the middle line, and so the way I remember it is the 4 beat rest hangs off the 4th line, and that's the one you would need to show a whole bars rest there. So let's move on. So now we're looking for 4 crotchet beats, 4 quarter notes per bar. So let's see what we've got here. A half and a half gives us 1 beat. We have half a beat here. We have a quarter of a beat here. And then we have 1 beat there, 1 beat there. So we have 1, 2, 3.5, 3 3/4 beats. We're a quarter of a beat missing, and so we just need the semi-quaver or the 16th note rest. It's like a quaver rest, but then we add an extra little bar on, just as we would with the note, so too with the rest. That's that one. So this last one now. Now here we have 2 beats, there should be 4, and so we're 2 beats missing. So you might feel inclined to do 2 separate crotchet beat rests. However, that isn't quite enough for full marks. We know that so long as we don't cross over the middle part of a bar of 4/4, we can actually just add a minim rest or a half note rest to show 2 beats rest there. So that would be the best answer there for full marks. So that's that one completed. Let's move on to question 7. So question 7 is asking us about the degrees of the scale. So we're counting up the scale in F major. F is the first degree of the scale and we're counting from there, each step of the scale. Now there's a number of ways you can do this. You just need to be careful that you always remember to count F as 1. So here is F. So F is 1, G is 2, A is 3, a third, 1, 2, 3. We count each step. The only way you can go wrong here is to forget to count F as 1 and then go straight on to count G as 1. However, that's not correct. It's 1, 2, 3. You can double check that if you sketch out the steps of your scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Of course, I know it's B flat, but your key signature takes care of that. We can double check and see that F is the third. 1, 2, 3. So here we have an F. That's the first, or we could say an octave, or we could say an eighth. It's the same principle. So here, if F is 1, G is 2, so that's the second. We can see that's clarified there. Carrying on, F, 1, 2, 3, 4. The B is the fourth. It's B flat, of course. And we can see that's the fourth degree of the scale. So here, 1, 2, 3, that's a third. And we shouldn't get that wrong because they actually gave us that at the very beginning. So we can see that that's repeated. So they've actually given us that one there. So now, counting from F, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, counting space line, that's the seventh, and we can confirm that E is the seventh degree of the scale. So that's that. So here, counting from F, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, C is the fifth, that's correct. So if C is the fifth, the next one up must be the sixth. Let's confirm that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. D is the sixth, that's correct. So we have a number of ways of double checking that. And here again we go to F. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. F to F is an octave, or we could say eighth, or you could say first, because it depends which octave you're counting from. F is the tonic, first and eighth. So either one of those will do. So let's look at the next one. So now we're asked how many semiquavers or 16th notes is the last note of the melody worth. So it's a minim, a half note. Let's diagram that out. So a minim or a half note divides into 2 crotchets. So 2 beats divide into 2 lots of 1, which will divide again into 4 quavers, which will divide again into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 semiquavers. There we go, so we can just diagram that out. Alternatively, you can look at the maths and work it out mathematically, and we can see that there are 8 quarters in 2 beats. So whichever you find better, I just find it easier to diagram that out because maths is not my strong point. Let's move on. Now here we see the new look of the layout of the paper from 2018 onwards, where all of our musical terms and performance directions are presented to us in multiple choice format. It doesn't get away from the fact that you do need to revise these, and as we progress through the grades this is added upon, so the list becomes accumulative, so there's always a lot to be revising. So I suggest there's nothing for it but to just do a good stint of revision. If you go to your PDF document, I've given you some revision tips on how to perhaps get to grips by grouping these thematically, and I've also given you a little bit of a test. Try and test yourself. And I'm not sure that multiple choice makes it any easier because there's often some sort of a red herring, so be careful that you read your definitions carefully, otherwise it could throw you off. So lento is slow, they've given us that one to show us how to work this. FF, so F is forte, Double F is fortissimo, which is like extra, it means very loud. Here we have a dynamic of gradually getting quieter. That's our symbol for a diminuendo, so gradually getting quieter. This little dot on top of a note is an articulation mark telling us how to sound the note, not to be confused with a dot after a note, which is a timing issue, which tells us to hold the note for half as long again. So this articulation mark is a staccato mark. However, watch out, staccato does not mean smoothly. Don't get tricked. Staccato means detached. Andante is at a medium speed. It can sometimes be referred to as at a walking pace. And here, now this little symbol here, sometimes it could mean a tie, but it's only a tied note when it's note head to next door note head of exactly the same pitch, adding the time values together. That's not the case here. Here it's like a little umbrella over two different notes of two different pitch, which means it's a slur. However, watch out, slur does not mean detached. Slur means to perform smoothly. It's a legato term where everything's smoothly joined together. So just watch out there, they're a little bit sneaky. There we go then, that's the end of that question. We'll look at the next question, the last question in the next video. I do hope this is helping you. I hope that it's of benefit to your studies. If you can give me a like, that would be really super. And please do subscribe to my channel to keep updated. There's lots more in store. Please also do go to sharonbill.com and have a browse around all the resource and information that's available there to help you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.